everybody. How's it going? I can't see you, but I can definitely hear you. My name is Josh Horowitz. I host a podcast called Happy, Sad, Confused. But today, I am so thrilled to give love to this amazing movie. Is this thing on? Give it up for this amazing film. Thank you for coming out. This is opening weekend for this film. I know you're going to spread the good word. It's a beautiful piece of work from this amazing ensemble. We're going to talk about the performances of Will Arnett and Laura Dern, top to bottom, amazing. And as a gift for coming out to support this movie opening weekend, I'm going to give you a guy that wore many hats on this film. He's a co-producer, he's a co-writer, he's a co-star, he's the sole director. It's the one and only Bradley Cooper.
Thank you, Dern. Go Birds, they just won. Oh, nice.
Much better Q&A, thanks to the gods.
I don't think the game's technically over, but I think it's 29-10.
Oh no, now you're jinxed it. Congratulations, man.
Thank
This
you.
movie just works. I was saying to you before, I mean, what a great ending to this film. So I'm sure you guys are feeling the high coming off the end of this film. Under Pressure, a beautiful song, obviously baked into the DNA of the script. Was it there early on? When
No, it was a
started?
different song early on, and I knew it was like almost like a placeholder song. I knew that well, it all started with how much time do you guys have?
We're kind of rushed.
It's not the holidays. My daughter goes to St. Luke's, which is a school in the West Village, and that's how I wrote the beginning of it, because that Chinese Lunar New Year assembly was there, and there was this, I thought it was a dragon, it was a lion, because I wasn't paying attention. But I noticed there's some people, some of the parents are on their phones with this insane thing, and I was like, this is the beginning of the movie where we find this guy catatonic, so we should end the movie here. And originally I thought the whole thing would take place in 1 year, and I was going to sort of mark that more definitively. And in the end, it is, but it's not something that we really talk about. But so I was like, it should be the students and their sons playing a song, and I put a placeholder, and then Laura Dern sent me while we were rewriting it, Eddie Vedder and Ben Harper's version of Under Pressure, and then I was like, that's it. And then luckily, that's my daughter's school has this incredible music teacher, Ron Nahas, and I asked him to, if there were students who he thought, I was like, this is what I want to do, and so all those kids, except for the two boys who were there, they go to St. Luke's, and those two girls are my daughter's students, co-students, and it was classmates, and it was amazing to shoot it in that elementary school, in the gym, so yeah, that was always a part of it. And honestly, it was Ron, the music, he's the guy that jumps up in the end, and he's got such great energy, and I was like, if we could capture that, and it was I just hoped that I could shoot it in a way that you capture it, which I feel like we did. Like, you feel his energy, even though you have no idea who he is, but just the joy of that. And for any parents, when you go, sometimes those things can be, excruciatingly tough. And sometimes they're really inspiring, especially when it's like your kid. It doesn't really matter how they're doing.
So this film, I mean, let's give some context to this. You have directed now 3 films. You're doing all right for yourself. A Star is Born, Maestro, and now this, 3 for 3. These are all, you can clap. It is fascinating to look at sort of what you're interested in as a director. You're excavating these human relationships, these romantic relationships in different forms. I mean, does this feel like the life's work as a filmmaker? Does this feel like stuff that you're just naturally gravitating towards, or what do you make of 3 films in what you've made?
Well, if I could get the script right of the thing I want to do next, then the answer would be no.
Okay.
but so far, I mean, just for me personally, the things, I mean, life is relationships, So that's what interests me. It's sort of human interaction.
This one is obviously though married to a couple other interests, namely this 25-year friendship with Will Arnett, the great Will Arnett, who just kills it in this movie.
I mean, he's the reason I did the movie. That was it. He's been my friend forever, and he was talking to me about this project he was working on, and it just ignited something in me, and I thought, oh man, I was like, do you think maybe we could work on rewriting it together, and if I could direct it? And what if we shoot it in New York and place it here, and then everything started to come together. We had an amazing crew. John, you here? John, yeah, baby. John Gaffer, stand up. Yeah, incredible. John also plays at one of the open mic places. You want to talk about it, John? He plays what the bouncer / manager. Yeah, but she was I was so happy he said yes. I was like, dude, when you play this guy? He's like, yeah, no problem. But did we have a lot of fun?
All blast.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was an incredible crew. We shot in 33 days all around New York. Everybody just gave it their all every day. It really was an incredible experience.
Can we talk a little bit about that? Let's just underline that. 33 days. That is a very short shoot for any film. And look, I mean, a year ago, if we had been talking, you were still probably casting, tweaking the script. Like you hadn't shot.
Yeah, a year ago I was finishing the script. Yeah, because we hadn't started shooting. And we wrapped in May.
And that's a quick edit turnaround.
Crazy edit turnaround. Then we were finished in October.
So is that
we wrapped shooting in May, principal photography, and then finished the movie just this past October.
So was that kind of baked into the project? Like you wanted to just kind of
No. I mean, I always knew it was going to be a small budget, and we would have to, in order to do what we wanted, we could only shoot that many days per the budget. But I didn't know it was going to come out this year. That was all news to me. But luckily, the way we shot it, there really wasn't much to do in terms of like within scenes editing, because it's a lot of just oneers basically. And we, for the most part, shot one camera for scenes. And so that made, and an incredible editing crew. Charlie Green, who was an assistant on Maestro editor, and the crew that he assembled was incredible. So just, again, surround yourself with people that are wonderful. You know, like production design was Kevin Thompson, who's like, did Birth. I don't know if you saw that, like, you know, he's just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that must be one of the joys, again, as you progress in your directing career, is kind of like you create this family that you
I mean, Matty Latico, I've worked with in everything I've done, who also plays one of the stand-ups. Matty Latico's a cinematographer. He's the guy with the beanie and the gloves. And so to shoot him, me shooting the cinematographer acting in the movie was really fun. And to shoot John, quite honestly.
I mean, Matty, look at his IMDb, one of the great cinematographers.
Yes,
needless to say, right? We should backtrack a little bit. I mean, as you saw from the title card, this is inspired by some true events. So Will and his writing partner.
Yeah, it was based on. He was when I reached out to him. We were just talking about what we were doing. I was in the middle of shooting Maestro. We were on a hiatus, and he was developing a project in the UK about this guy John Bishop, who's actually now a very successful comedian, like sells out arenas. But his story, his origin story was very similar in the sense that he was split from his wife, was at a pub one night, didn't want to pay the cover. They said you can put your name down and not pay, and then he realized that meant he had to go up on stage. And so they call his name to go on stage, and he just starts talking about his divorce. And a couple people laughed, and he just kept going back. And then months later, he was still separated from his wife. She came with her friends to that same pub and saw him doing a set about their breakup. And so I thought that's just, and if we made that up, you would think like, you know, if you were sending it to the studio, they're like, this doesn't, you know, and I can say what I'm saying to you, like it actually happened. So don't say it was bad. But you know, that was much more, and what they were developing was more about stand-up, him becoming a stand-up comic, and we switched to more that it's just the process of doing something that makes you out of your comfort zone, and performance in that way, just about and watching this guy become more comfortable. And that was one of the things that was great for John and me and the rest of the crew to watch Will do this, you know, in the cellar. Because we shot all the cellar stuff and all the stand-up comedy stuff in the first 6 days of the shoot, did all of it. In fact, Kieran Hines, who plays his dad, you know, which we were so lucky to get, he doesn't live in America, so he came in and they had never met before they shot that scene outside of the street. So Kieran like flies in, goes through hair and makeup. We're shooting the vampire scene at that time. We finished that. I showed Kieran the take of it because I wanted him to experience what he just was walking out of. And I was like, Will, why don't you just go have a cigarette in the stew? Kieran comes out and we just shoot that scene right away. And they had never even talked to each other. So that was incredible to watch these two actors do that.
Casting. That's the most biggest part of the game, right? 9% is casting, right?
Yeah, what was it? Who said like casting is plot?
Yes. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about your history with Will. You go back 25 years. He told me he thinks the first time you met was McManus Bar.
Definitely it was, yeah.
Were you vetting him for Amy?
I was part of a crew that was vetting him. For Amy Poehler, yeah. She had met him, and I just had the great fortune of doing a movie called Wet Hot American Summer and meeting all the guys from the stage. Yeah, I was so happy to be a part of that. And so I like just moved from DC. It was in my last year of grad school and got this film, crazily enough. And then and all of a sudden I was going like to the Upright Citizen Brigade because Amy was doing that then, and then going to the cellar. And that's really when it started, this idea of my fascination with stand-up comedy, like actually in person. Richard Pryor is my hero, but in terms of actually going to clubs.
Did you ever consider dabbling? Did you ever go on stage?
No, never.
Why not?
I don't know. It's not like I'll do it. Okay.
Okay.
I'll do it.
I mean, you're failing and everything else, and you're like, fine.
I agree with I'll do it. Let's
Sam-
start now. Hey, what are we doing tonight?
You've seen Zootopia three
Three
times.
times.
Do you have any material on Zootopia?
Oh, that's a good. Hey, who's seen Zootopia 2? It's like a masterpiece. It is. It's amazing. Anyway, and the third one's going to be about birds, clearly, right? With the feather.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't wait to the end of the credits?
You're spoiling it.
You gotta wait to the end of the credits.
What did you see in Will that you wanted to exploit in the best
Just how
possible way?
great he would have been in Zootopia. Will, again, I said the reason I did it is because, like, here's this guy I've known who's the funniest guy in the room. You know him well. He's just so smart. He's got a voice that I envy. I'm sure most men here do. Speaking voice. And he's just, I just thought, like, wow, this could be something, that maybe I know that other people don't know. So if I could be just a small part of shepherding this.
Right.
And like already a director has talked to him about something which made me so happy. He was just telling me the other day, because he's really incredible, and he's at a time of his life at 55 where he's just really comfortable with who he is.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that scared him the most, and that was the thing that was the best. I think John would agree with me. Just watching him fold laundry, in this apartment in front of us, was something that he was terrified to do. This is not something that he really did a lot of, that kind of stuff. And he doesn't fold laundry. He's like 14 people that do it for him. So it's like, no, you fold the thing. It's like, what do you mean? Does it just come out fresh? I said, no, well. No, just do something, that to have every single moment be as specific as possible and be as important, because the whole movie rides on him for the most part.
Yeah.
And so that was incredible to watch, all the preparation he did. He and Laura Dern, thank God she did the movie, they worked so hard to build this relationship, because they didn't know each other that well before.
Can we talk about that a little bit? Because, they hadn't worked together before. Willis said he was intimidated by Laura. I mean, she is just always sublime. And there has to be so much that's unspoken. Like, there's so much history to this relationship that you have to, like, read right from the beginning. Does that come through in rehearsal?
Yeah.
What's the process
Yeah,
there?
it's not like it just magically appears at all. It was like very worked on and thought out, and tirelessly by the two of them. And even while we're shooting, just being relentless, pursuing it relentlessly. And that was, and the whole crew. And that was just, that's the fun part. Is being terrified, like scared, like I don't know, and being surprised every day.
I will say, we're getting about the other actors in the film. You were very, very funny in this movie. You were no surprise, but what a rude guy stealing his own movie out from under the other actors. No, they're all amazing, but you're also fantastic in this. I mean, talk to me a little bit about facial hair choices, wardrobe choices for your character.
Sure.
What went into it?
Those onesies are great, by the way. Again, it's like the crew. Golly, who was the costume designer, we were talking about what he could be wearing, and sometimes you put on something, it's like, what is the idea of like he's always comforting, he wears onesies the whole movie. And yeah, Will and I kind of look similar, so I wanted to look completely different. That was the original thing. So I was like, I'm gonna grow my beard out and my hair, and he has glasses. And I was like, that was really the first reason.
Okay.
Then I was like, oh no, because he's doing this play called The 13 Disciples. And sometimes like the writing comes out of that, and he's an understudy, right? That's what he's so psyched about the beard. And I was like, and then what if we, because actors, we change our aesthetic all the time.
Sure.
So, and he hopes to. So then, what if like there's this, because like Western TV series are so huge now. It was like he's got this role, so we like shaved the beard and the handlebar mustache, and he's so excited. And he worked 9 days, but if you think about it, that's 2 days of travel,
Right.
a fitting, so he didn't work 9 days. It wasn't that long. But yeah, so that was where that came from. Yeah.
See, Payton Manning was not on my bingo card when I walked in the door. I don't know about you guys. He's great.
But
he's
good at it, right? Am I crazy? Yeah.
But
There we go. I mean, and my hope was even the way that we shot it was like, at first you're like, wait, is that Payton Manning? And then you're like, yeah, that's Payton Manning. What's Payton Manning doing in this movie? And you're like, oh, he's volleyball, what? And and you're like, oh, he's playing a character. And by the end, by the time he says like, but coaching saved me, I don't know, the way he looks at her, and I remember we were shooting that, I was like, fuck, like he crushed it. Yeah. And I wanted to, also because there's such short real estate for Tess, meaning like not much time in the movie, to build her sort of arc. And then so I really wanted somebody that when he's talking about it, there's a meta to it where you believe what he's saying.
Right.
You know, and for him to be a worthy adversary to Alex. Right. That the movie could veer off to the right. Like there's a world where they go off if they don't walk into that bar.
Right.
And also for him not to be like sleazy at all. You know, that there's this, he truly, you know, like, oh, wow, geez, Tess, I'm really happy, you know. And I thought he was perfect.
I also thought, and to give a little more love to Laura, in that scene where she's watching Will as Alex, I mean, just so much on her face, just watching him doing the stand-up. Again, you get the best actors.
Yeah.
Just like,
and that, again, not easy, you know, that was like packed, the cellar, that's a small room, there were like 180 people in there, and it's hot, and Payton Manning's right to your left, you know, and I'm right there, you know, with the camera, and but she just breathed through it and went through all of it. It was really wonderful to watch.
Let's talk about that before we wrap up. You are operating the camera quite a bit.
Not all the time. I mean, Scott Sakamoto, the legendary camera operator, who's incredible, and he's the reason why I felt even comfortable enough to give it a go. But it just felt like that was the best way for the movie to be made. So yeah.
How close are you to?
Well, it's a 40mm lens for the whole film, except for the shower, and with a 1:6:1 aspect ratio, because it just felt like that was the best way to, at least the way I feel like in New York City. So some, you know, the close-up at a 40 is very close. You know, you're like there, you know, but then you're all over the place depending on the composition.
And a little bit of that inspired by someone like David O. Russell, who very much in the moment, very much with the actors. Like, was there?
Yeah, I mean, David O. Russell was inspired, affected me, and you know, there was like before and after my experience with David O. Russell. I mean, for him more than the camera movement, because it was the way he works with actors. Right. That was the thing. And that was when I first realized, like, you don't have to go back and watch a take. And he would, like, that scene with Jennifer Lawrence and I in the diner in Silver Linings Playbook, he's under the table with the monitor. You know, he was always so close, and I loved that. And every movie I did as an actor after that, I would always ask, you know, the director, you know, to be close if they were comfortable. Because it just feels like, I love the idea of, because the truth is, anybody who makes movies knows that, like, and John, tell me if I'm wrong, like, we're all making the movie. There's not like 2 people making it. There's like 7 in this circle, and everybody's a part of it. And if one person's not, you feel it and it doesn't work. So the closer everybody is together, I like that. No, John? No.
We all know what you're doing in front of and behind the camera now. I mean, there's so much intimacy and emotion and just authenticity in all your work, and this one really resonates. I know you guys are going to spread the good word. Thank you for coming out.
Oh yeah, happy holidays.